Naomi Osaka, the #2 seed and the highest earning female athlete in the world, announced she's dropping out of the French Open, citing anxiety and a need to prioritize her mental health. The decision came a day after tennis officials threatened to suspend her and fine her $15,000 over her decision not to do media interviews so she could focus on the game. Joining us now, sports writer Kavitha Davidson, sports and culture writer for The Athletic. Good morning. Thank you so much for being back on the show with us.
Thank you for having me.
I got to ask, and I don't know how you can answer this or what. How tone deaf is the French Tennis Federation here?
I would say pretty tone deaf, frankly. I don't know who loses worse, if it's the fans. Frankly, media loses. Obviously, the French Tennis Federation and Roland Garros is losing out on this. And the fact of the matter is, we're without one of the best players in the world, a multinational generational talent in probably the third most important tournament of the season. So that's really where we stand right now.
Is that not concerning, right? And let me just say, the French Federation, Tennis Federation president put out a statement saying we remain committed to all athletes' well-being. By the way, then did not take any questions from the press on this.
He did not take questions after that, right? Yeah, that was.
But no, I was going to say, what message does this send, right? That you have this young woman who is at the height of her career who's saying, you know what, my mental health is more important than this, and then this is the sort of backlash that she faces here.
I mean, I think it's very indicative of what these media appearances are meant to do. And I should also say that there are so many of us who cover the sport, who love this sport, who are trying to ask the right questions and are trying to, tell these stories in a proper and journalistically ethical way. But at the same time, we have seen the way that some of these press conferences just get completely derailed. And if Naomi Osaka is telling us that she does not want to do these interviews for her own mental health so she can focus on being the best that she can be on the court, which is her primary job, frankly, then I think that we have to listen to her instead of piling on to what is already obviously an extremely emotionally fraught situation.
And there's there's obviously sort of the mental health message here, right? Because Naomi Osaka, she is a young woman of color who started being, vocal during the Black Lives Matter movement. She's got the pressure of being the #2 tennis player in the world. Such an incredible future in the sport, right? What is the, if you can even speculate on this, the potential precedent for this, right? For her to say, listen, I'm going to step away. I need to do this for my own mental health. The backlash, as you talk about, that the French Tennis Federation is going to be facing here. How does this play out, right? Like next year, next summer, the summer after, and so on?
I think it's been really interesting to see how other athletes have responded here, tennis players and from outside the sport, just really showing a lot of solidarity with what she's trying to do. There's no reason not to take Naomi Osaka at her word when she says that she was doing this for her own mental health. We should also note that she won her first round match and did take questions on the court, so she wasn't averse to doing all media, but she basically said, this was the boundary that she was trying to set for herself. That does make our jobs more difficult as journalists, but at the same time, I don't think that any athlete owes us their time. So the precedent that this can set will be actually very interesting to see. There's also a value judgment that every athlete, every subject, no matter what you're covering in journalism, has to make, which is it worth it for me to talk to this reporter? Do I think this reporter is coming at me in good faith? And if people like Naomi Osaka and other athletes are deciding that that's not the case, then that's something that we have to reckon with as an industry.
Kavitha Davidson, it is always great to have you on. Thank you so much for your perspective on this big story in the world of sports and beyond.